when people ask, like, so what is do good? It's like, I can answer it in so many ways because it's so many different things to me. We wanted like the small, unheard, important stories to have a platform to be heard and understood.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 33 of the Andrew Deitch podcast. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and I'm feeling pumped to give you guys another awesome episode. 33. Man, we are 1/3 of the way to 100. Pretty crazy stuff. I launched on May 28th. Today is it's August 10th. Wow. We're already pretty far into August, jeez. But seriously, it's kind of crazy that we've gotten this many episodes cranked out in that short period of time. But anyways, let's just jump into this thing, shall we? My guest today is a man named Seth Loeb. Seth and his wife Hope are the owners and designers behind Do Good Clothing Company. And you may have already heard of their company, especially if you live in the Atlanta area, because that's where they're based. But they've done an extraordinary job of gaining a ton of support and hype around their brand. And before I met Seth and Hope, or even actually knew who they were, I had heard of Do Good, and I think I had actually stumbled upon their Instagram page. But I'm really glad I got the chance to sit down with Seth and unpack exactly what they do. And I'm not going to get into the whole message of what Do Good is right now, and what they stand for, since Seth is going to be able to explain it a lot better than I would be able to in just a bit. But I did want to mention that when we recorded this podcast 2 weeks ago, the brand had not officially launched yet. It was just, on Instagram. They had shirts made, but they weren't for sale yet. They had products, but I am super excited to announce that they had their official launch of their website yesterday. And boy, I'm not joking. Let me tell you, their hard work has paid off. Their website is seriously beautiful. And I am not just saying that. I was literally blown away at the quality of the photography and the videos on their homepage. I'm seriously telling you, you need to go check it out. Their website is dogoodclothingcompany.com, and they are officially open for business, baby. No more playing around. Real stuff. And while you're there, make sure you check out all their products and goodies. They have some seriously really high quality pieces at very affordable prices, from mugs and tote bags to super comfy t-shirts. I'm actually wearing their classic tee right now. It's like a tri-blend. It's super comfy. And they got all kinds of different caps and awesome hats. Plus, their give and get model lends itself to you feeling great about buying from Do Good, because you can always count on them donating 20% of their purchase profits to the Center for Visually Impaired. That's at least that's the organization that they're giving to right now. But they're committed to giving 20% of their proceeds. But since this is an audio thing, you can't really see their stuff, but you can go check it all out for yourself at their website, which is live right this minute. And they will also be carrying Do Good products in some retail locations very soon. So don't be surprised when you see Do Good stuff while you're out and about. But I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Seth tell you all about it. So without any further ado, please give it up for Seth Loeb. And just like that, we're live, man.
All right, man. Let's do it.
It's pretty weird, like we're just talking and then all of a sudden you press a button and then, whoa.
Yeah.
We're on the record.
Everybody knows.
Everybody now knows what we're saying.
Yeah.
A second ago, they had no idea what we were saying.
No.
They had no access.
It was all off the record. Now it's on.
Very cool. Well, welcome everybody. My guest today is my buddy.
Seth Loeb.
That I just met.
Yeah.
Seth Loeb. Is that how you say your last name?
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice. And his wife is here.
Hope Loeb.
Hope Loeb. There we go. Very nice. And I met Seth through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
Alan. What's up, Alan? I'm sure you're listening to this.
Who is a mutual friend of my friend.
Ah, who's your mutual friend?
My buddy Steven.
What's
he's
up,
actually, he's on our board of directors, so
nice.
He introduced us to Alan, and then Alan introduced us to you, and
there we go.
Yeah.
It's all just an awesome little circle.
It really is.
It's really actually cool how many cool people I've met just by like starting this podcast, and I just told you like I just started it pretty recently. And I always had a kind of cool network of people, but it's like grown so much even in the past like month or two.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I can't even like imagine where it's going to be in the next like few months to a year or whatever. Once I get to like 100 episodes, like what the heck?
I'm sure you've had just friends come out the woodworks to try and get on the podcast.
Yeah, and it's not even like some people too that I asked to be on it initially. Now they're a little bit more nervous about it because they're like, it's actually like a lot of people are listening to this.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Like I thought this was just like a little thing you were trying to do. I'm like, no, I'm trying to like blow it out of the water. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it is cool because also it's a weird thing where when you're on a podcast and you're on the record, like all of a sudden the conversation needs to have more substance than just like, oh, what'd you eat for lunch? You know? So like you are like intentionally trying to have a cool conversation with people.
Yeah.
And sometimes in normal life, it just doesn't lend itself to that because we've got our phones and we're like, oh, look at this meme. Yeah. Stuff like that. Whereas when we're like being recorded, we're like, oh, we must talk about sophisticated things.
Interesting, high level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, cool, man. Well, I don't really know that much about you, and I kind of did that on purpose because I was like, okay, cool. Adam said this guy's cool. I know he owns this like clothing company, and I'm down to like meet him. So kind of just give me an intro of you and like your life and all that kind of stuff.
So I'm from Roswell, Georgia, right near you. Nice. Is this considered?
This is Norcross.
It's Norcross.
It's like kind of in between Norcross and Duluth.
Yeah. I used to go bowling right around the corner.
Nice.
Yeah. We grew up here, went to high school at Centennial in Roswell, and then after high school, my wife and I moved to New York City.
Nice. When did you guys get married?
2 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
So before you guys were married, you moved to New York City. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Mm-hmm. And went to school up there for 2 years. Came back because my dad got sick, and then we came back to kind of help him, and I worked for his business for a while, and then so I started going to school at Georgia State. Still have one course to finish. I'm so sorry, Mom. I don't think you know how to download a podcast, but if you do, I'm so sorry. It's just one course. I'll do it. But yeah, so then...
If you download the podcast, he'll finish the course.
Exactly. If you download the podcast, I will go back to school and finish the technical theater course. But yeah, so I was studying acting, and that's part of the reason I moved back to Atlanta is because there were some awesome opportunities to do acting and Hope as a makeup artist.
Nice.
So that was a budding field in Atlanta as well. So it was perfect timing right when we moved back.
Atlanta's popping.
It really, really is. I was listening to the one about your buddy who's a grip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was super interesting. I mean, there's just so much opportunity for expansion and newfound careers for people that maybe didn't know they had a career in something, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like I used to work on movies as well a little bit. I was a production assistant, and like everybody can find something in film that they enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like a certain type of person, wouldn't you agree, Hope?
Yeah.
It's a certain type of person for like each job, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like grips are definitely a certain type of way, and then same with gaffers and.
People refer back to the Breakfast Club a lot.
Yeah. There's like tropes that you see in people, and people will like latch on to certain things. Like I loved like the grip culture because it is kind of like a culture, and yeah. So I thought that was super interesting that you had him on. What was his name?
Yeah, Graham Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, Graham's cool. And that's another thing, is I met him like right when I was starting my podcast, and I was like, this guy's cool. I need to have him on my podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's really cool because now when I meet someone cool or like interesting, I have something that I can like help do something with it. Like, you know,
exactly.
if I just met you and you know, whatever, we might be friends, but like I won't now have a platform where I can like lift people up and like help people, you know,
It's so
talk
cool
about their stuff.
Yeah, no, it really is. Like, it's the coolest part of what you're doing, in my opinion, is you get to show so many really cool stories that need to be heard.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. And like everyone has a story. That's the cool thing. It's like it's not just limited to entrepreneurs or, you know, people that are like doing something huge. It's like, no, you could just have a normal life and your story's still interesting.
Yeah, totally.
You've experienced tons of stuff that I've never experienced. And
absolutely.
Yeah. One other thing that I was going to mention too with Atlanta, like blowing up, my friend Matt B. Davis, he has a podcast called the Atlanta Podcast.
Oh, cool.
And he interviewed a couple weeks ago, and it just got released, the guy who created the Beltline. Like the guy who like was the visionary behind it, Ryan Gravel.
Yeah.
And that was super interesting because he like was talking about all this stuff about how Atlanta's on the come up and you know, all the reasons why Atlanta is like going to explode and all this stuff is really, really interesting.
Did he left the Beltline Commission, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's pretty bold because I think he didn't feel like it was going in the direction or...
He said it was like a
promises.
ton of things. He didn't really want to go on record and say like one thing because it was basically like it was a lot of different things.
I'm sure.
But he's still like he's still like somewhat affiliated with it. He didn't like completely separate, but he's like working for another like planning something. I don't know. You'll have to listen to the podcast. Go listen to the podcast if you're interested in it. But because I'm butchering it. But yeah, that was super interesting because you're right. Like Atlanta is just like popping off.
Yeah, absolutely. So we moved back. Hope still works in film and TV, and I actually work at an escape game now. So,
no way.
Yeah. So
dude, I work at an escape game.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking.
Dude, which one do you work at?
I'm not joking. Urban Escape Games in
Really?
Alpharetta. Yep.
Dude, I'm a general manager at Mission Escape Atlanta.
That is the funniest thing of all time. That is so funny. You heard it here, folks. That was a genuine reaction.
Oh,
that
wow.
is super, super funny.
That's ridiculous. All right, so there it is. There's the common thread.
Exactly. That's how we met, everyone.
Yeah.
We were star-crossed escape game lovers.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
we heard about each other, and we had to...
So
that is so funny. People that work with me are gonna like freak out because they're gonna think that's the funniest thing ever.
that is just so random.
Super random.
Oh man.
So now we can relate on that level. If anyone listening doesn't know what an escape game is, it's pretty awesome. You should go do one.
Yeah, 60-minute live action escape game adventure in an immersive environment.
Wow, better explanation than I could have given.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's super cool. Where's Mission? It's down in the city, right?
Yeah. It's kind of near Atlantic Station. It's off Bishop Street.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's awesome. We can get into escape game stuff after, off the record.
Yeah, so I've been working there for the past like 2.5 years.
Nice.
Kind of watched it grow and build, and then ended up wanting to do my own thing. My dad was an entrepreneur, and he's definitely like the influence behind the majority of what I'm doing.
Yeah. And you said he has his own business.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So he passed away like 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so we ended up selling his business after he passed away, and I mean, me nor my sister were able to run it. Because,
what was it?
So it was called Veracom Corporation, and what they did was provide on-hold messaging and digital signage for the healthcare industry. So when you get put on hold, when you call into a hospital, instead of hearing music, you hear like actual things that can help you. So you would maybe, if you're calling in and there would be a recording about reminders to schedule your mammogram while you call, to prevent breast cancer, things like that. And the intent really was to help people.
Yeah, because instead of just sitting on hold and just being bored, you could actually learn something or know something.
Absolutely. It's a captive audience, and he wanted to take advantage of that. And it brought like real value to people's lives. And it's always cool to see like when you have an idea you think is good and you think is helping people, and you see it actually help people. Like he had testimonies of people that had heard when they called in, and they had gotten something checked out, and they discovered something really early because they had that they had the reminder. So that was pretty cool as I was growing up. I didn't really understand it as a kid. As an adult, I definitely see the value now. But so that was he's kind of the person I drive my entrepreneurial spirit from.
That's
for
really
sure.
cool.
Yeah, so we started Do Good.
A year ago in August.
Yeah, pretty much a year ago. And when I say started, that means we started designing things. So we don't actually launch until August 9th of 2017. So we started pretty much with an Instagram. I had been messing around with design and stuff like that, using like very cheap free programs like Canva, stuff like that. And I was like, I'm making some cool stuff. And then it's always like taking something from like that idea phase to just making one piece of execution. And so I made 2 shirts. I went to like some store in Little 5 Points, had something heat pressed. I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know anything, but I was like, I gotta just do this. Because I'd always wanted to like make t-shirts for some reason. I don't know. And I don't even wear that many t-shirts. I do now, but I never really liked graphic t-shirts growing up or anything like that. But I just made one thing, and it said, study hard always. And I was like, that's like a pretty cool positive message. At that time, I was like really into leadership podcasts, stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you should always be trying to push yourself to learn more, study more, work harder, work smarter. And that was my whole that's like my whole family thing is work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
like that.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the genesis of like the t-shirt aspect was just making one thing, and I wore it around. And when I make something, I'll kind of wear it obsessively, just so I can get feedback from people.
Totally.
And people are like, "That's really cool. Like, could you make me one?" And I was like, I don't know, maybe. We'll see. And it kind of built into something else. And so kind of the story around the name Do Good Clothing Company was every day when my dad would drop me off at school, I would get out of the car and he would like either hold the car door open or roll down the window, and he would say, do something nice for somebody today or be good to somebody. And then while we were driving up, he would talk to me about like what did I think that I could do for somebody else while I was at school that day. And I'm sure I scurried off or was embarrassed because my dad was yelling at me in the carpool circle. But
out the window, that's classic.
Yeah. So that was kind of what it came from, is everybody can daily do something good for somebody else. It's super easy. And that's definitely a part of our purpose. It's just an easy daily thing to think about right when you get up, be grateful for a couple things, and then do something nice for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super awesome. I think a lot of people aren't really raised like that because their parents are stressed and like, you know, they're always worrying about stuff, and so they're not really intentionally doing good stuff for other people, and so they're not really putting that value into their kids. I mean, obviously you want to tell your kid to be nice to people and share and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, hey, what can you actually do out of your own comfort zone, out of your own normal things for somebody else? That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a major thing. I mean, it can be sending a text to your grandparent that day, you know, just reminding them that you're thinking about them. Just like small things like that, I think will start to pile up and they'll make a big impact. So with Do Good, 20% of every purchase will always be donated. And the charity we're starting out with is National Federation for the Blind.
Nice.
So yeah, 20. So it's we call it like the give and get model. Everybody wants to feel good about getting something, you know.
Totally.
So it really is a win-win for just about everybody. And I want to push other companies to donate portions of their proceeds. It's so simple. And most major companies have the means to do that. And that's our mission, is to push large companies to donate percentages of their proceeds and make it transparent, make it known to the public as well, so that they can feel good when they're consuming, you know.
Exactly.
Because I think people will always choose, if you have the same product essentially and one that donates, they're gonna go to the one that donates.
Yeah, exactly. It's better for business anyways.
Why not?
Yeah, especially the more transparent you make it and the more content you can create around that space too. Like my thing when I was growing up, all the time I would hear about like giveaways or stuff that like companies would do, but then they would never make like content around what happened or whatever.
Yeah.
Like for example, like on the Trix yogurt, like you could win a getaway for you and one other person in New York City. Like where was the commercials of those people having like an awesome time in New York City? Like they could have gotten way more hype about it if they would have done that.
Did anyone ever get to New York City?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, all those restrictions applied anyways. So.
Yeah, exactly. Price of participation may vary.
Yeah, exactly. So true. But like my thing is a lot of times you'll hear about companies that are like, oh yeah, we're donating to this or whatever, and it's awesome, but like I like to see the transparency. That's my biggest thing is like if you can actually show me what's going on. Yeah. Like actually this morning I went to church with my parents and they had the guy from Charity Water. Yeah. He did like a whole message. And like
dude,
it was
awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'd heard about him and stuff. I never like heard the whole story. But one cool thing that they do is like they have a map, and you can actually go and like choose which like water spot you want to like donate to or whatever. Or like they're showing like for example, if you have a they'll have one of their initiatives is like for your birthday, donate instead of taking gifts.
Oh,
like,
dude,
donate
I
all
love
the
that.
money. Yeah, it's a super cool concept. But like you can choose like I want all the money from my birthday to go to this one well in Ethiopia or whatever, and like it's super transparent because they'll show like okay, you can click on that one and they'll show all the pictures from what they're doing there and all this stuff. It's really cool.
And that's the level I want to be at because I think people want to see that.
Totally.
It can be so vague when you're buying something and then they'll say like portions of our proceeds are donated.
Yeah.
And it's like, is there a question mark
or
after
like,
that?
Or like money's going to Africa. And you're like, what country? Because Africa's really big. What organization? And are you just giving it to?
It's for the kids.
Yeah.
Just do it for the kids.
This is going to help starving kids in Africa.
Yeah. But how?
Yeah.
But yeah, so exactly. And I want to be super transparent about that.
That's awesome.
And I think our charity will change annually. We were thinking about doing something quarterly, but I think I want to be able to focus attention in and like expose awesome stories within that charity.
That's really cool. So why did you guys choose, or why did you choose the
Federation for the
Blind? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually visually impaired.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have a degenerative eye disease called Kier's disease. Or autosomal dominant optic atrophy.
I've heard of that. I haven't heard the common name.
Yeah, sorry. I knew
Please
you had heard
refer
of the
only
other.
to scientific names.
Exactly.
I don't.
But yeah, so
with the normies.
yeah, it's just it's a degenerative eye disease and the optic nerve atrophies. So that's my relation to National Federation for the Blind.
Does it eventually end like in complete blindness, or like how does it?
Yeah, I mean, there's all different types of cases. Mine has stayed pretty stable for the past like 8 years.
Wow.
And I can wear glasses to a certain extent to correct nearsightedness. But yeah, there's no sort of science or anything to cure it right now. I guess the only thing would be like regenerating nerve endings, or repairing them in some way. So we'll see. But that is my connection to Federation for the Blind.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a lady yesterday actually at the escape game place that was talking about how they were trying to create an escape game that would simulate people that are blind, because she works for I don't think it was the same organization, but she works for she works with blind clients. Yeah. And she was trying to create like an escape game that would simulate all the problems and puzzles that blind people deal with on like a daily basis, which is pretty interesting.
That's
kind of like
cool.
I don't know if you heard about Dialogue in the Dark. There's like another thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wanted it to be like more like trying to open a package that's unfamiliar, or like just different things. I thought that was a really interesting concept.
It really is.
Yeah, and like people on a daily basis don't tend to think about what the kind of struggles that blind people go through because they're not blind. Yeah. But it was interesting actually. Yesterday I did a podcast with this guy Brandon, and he is paralyzed from like the chest down.
Oh wow.
And so he's in a wheelchair. And it was really interesting talking to him about all the like stuff that he has to go through. He's developed an app called Paraperks that like helps you on the app. So like if you're at a place and they don't have the exact accommodations that you need, you can put on there and be like, hey, just so you know, if you're in a wheelchair, this bathroom stall door doesn't like open all the way, you won't be able to get in, or stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. Like his app is like helping people so they can know beforehand if they're planning on going out or whatever, to plan around the different things that they have to plan around, which is really, really interesting. But blindness has like the same kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You have all the struggles that normal people don't think about.
Exactly. And people just want to be independent, you know?
Exactly.
Or at least have the ability to have freedom and independence, like, and do something by themselves, you know? We're actually just on a cruise this past week. And I was like walking around, and I was like, I continually am getting lost. Like, and I'm seeing the signs of going like the right direction, and I'm still getting lost. And I was like, I cannot imagine. Well, first off, being a blind person and then being on a rocking boat where you can't like look to land or to the horizon to stabilize yourself. But also like, it was just not a good environment for a blind person. That floor was slippery everywhere. Like, it would just be very difficult. It's like certain things you notice like that, and you're like, oh, what can I do to help this make it like a little bit easier for other people? It's not something most people think about too often. So that's the goal, is to get people thinking about other people and doing good, essentially.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you said, the main thing that people want is just like independence, and we take that for granted like so easily, because I can get up and walk and go somewhere or whatever. And one thing that's really interesting, like today I'm leaving to go to Milan. Like tonight, or tomorrow morning rather, I'm gonna wake up in a foreign country where I'm not gonna be able to speak Italian. And like have to, you take for granted just the idea of like communicating with somebody. And it kind of puts, you know, some of that kind of stuff into perspective of, you know, on one hand, it makes the mundane and ordinary kind of exciting, but at the same time, it's hard to just be independent because you're like, I'm afraid to like go to the grocery store. Because the guy at the register might like ask me a question and I don't know how to answer. Or like stuff like that.
And but it always gets better when you find somebody to connect with. Like we both worked at the Escape Game. You're going to a music festival with a bunch of people who have the exact same interest. And the cool part is language won't matter once you get there. You know, like everybody's going to be speaking different languages, but they're all going to know and feel the same things.
It is very, very true. It's actually crazy how many countries are represented. At Tomorrowland, there's more countries represented than at the Olympics, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, people from all over the world come. And the cool thing that they do is they try to make it global like that on purpose. Because what they do is they have an allotted amount of tickets per country. So it's actually really, really hard to get tickets as an American.
Oh, I had no idea.
It's, like, extremely hard.
That's cool, though.
It is very, very cool. And the other cool thing is if you're one of the first 5 people from your country to buy tickets, you also get put in a... not a lottery, but like an allotment of that you can also buy additional tickets for your friends or whatever.
Oh, cool.
So like people from like really small countries, it's really awesome because chances are they're going to be one of the 5 people because there's probably not very many people going. And it's actually really interesting because they have this one camping section called the Ambassador section, and it's all the people that were the top 5 from their country.
Oh, that's it.
And so it's literally the most diverse part of Tomorrowland because it's people from every country are represented. It's really, really cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wait, is it extremely expensive? Like the festival ticket itself?
It's pretty expensive.
How many days is it?
It's like a Thursday till like Thursday night. They have a thing called The Gathering, which is only for the people that are camping on site and stuff.
Okay.
So if you're staying in a hotel, you can't come. But
camping?
Yes, I'm doing a thing called a relax room where it's like almost like a shipping container that you sleep in.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's
so
awesome.
It's like a little mini hotel room. It's really awesome. I did it last year. But
cool.
The tickets are way more expensive for that because they're providing you like a bed and sheets and towel and you know you're in like the VIP camping area too. So. But anyways, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but that's just what I chose to do. But it's like general tickets, like with no camping or anything. I think they're like $300, $400, which isn't that bad in comparison. but those tickets are also severely limited.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure.
what they kind of do, not to get into too much into Tomorrowland stuff, but it's totally on my brain, so I'm just going to go into it.
That's
but
all good.
one thing that they do is they have a monopoly on food. They have a monopoly on lodging. They have a monopoly on the festival itself. The one thing they don't have a monopoly on is the travel, right?
Yeah.
Because they can make money on pretty much every aspect of the festival, but travel is a huge part of that expense.
Mm-hmm.
So what they have done in the recent years is they implemented these things called global journey packages, where it's ticket plus lodging plus travel. So it like your plane ticket or your bus ticket or your train ticket is included in the price of like the whole thing, which makes a lot of sense because it's easy for people to do, but at the same time the ticket is way more expensive and you can get a cheaper plane ticket like much easier.
Yeah, definitely.
So what they do though is they'll put it on sale, all the general release tickets that are like no camping, all the cheap ones that are only like $300, they go in like 1 second, literally.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they're on sale, they're sold out immediately,
Oh,
basically.
for sure.
And then they're like, oh, looks like only tickets are left are global journey.
Yeah.
Gotta buy those ones that include the travel. And so they basically force you to buy the ones that have travel included so they can kind of have that monopoly on the whole thing. So they're kind of like, well, if you want to attend, you've also got to buy our plane ticket that we have deals with these airlines. Yeah, it's
That's
kind of
nuts.
tricky. But hey, they can charge and do whatever they want, I guess.
They're giving people like an experience of a lifetime. Like I felt like I experienced something when I watched the trailer for it.
Their after movies are beyond amazing.
I literally like I was like, oh, that was a great festival I just went to. Seriously.
One thing though that I'm actually planning on doing while I'm there is I'm gonna be making a short like documentary style movie.
Nice.
And one thing that like inspired me to do that was there's so much content that's like so cinematic around it. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so insane. But like there were so many things when I attended last year that I was like, I've never seen this in any video. Like what? I did not know this existed.
Yeah.
Like for example, this year there's an entire gym in the campsite.
Of course there is.
Like there's like weight racks
They
and
have
like
everything.
squat racks and like
God.
they do like yoga in the morning there and like all this stuff.
Oh my
And like
gosh.
they might this year, that's like a new thing for this year, so they might like include snippets of that in the after
Yeah.
movie. But still like the main parts of the after movie are gonna be like the music and the lights and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
production.
yeah.
So like I wanna make like a little documentary style thing where like, yo, this is a stage that you've never seen in any of the after movies because it's so tiny, but it's still awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Or like, you know, all the little things.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm planning on doing.
And that's I mean, dude, that definitely relates back to Do Good in that, like, so I mean, so we're actually like working on building our like succinct purpose, because that is of the utmost importance to me.
Got a purpose.
I mean,
What do you have?
when people ask, like, so what is Do Good? It's like, I can answer it in so many ways because it's so many different things to me. And that was one of the things, is we wanted like the small, unheard, important stories to have a platform to be heard and understood.
That's awesome.
I mean, we wanted to show people and reward those who were doing good without getting anything. You know, like with us, you do give and get. But I really also want to highlight the people who are giving because it's what's right for them, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. Yeah, like we were talking about making transparent content around, you know, doing good and stuff. And a lot of the times, those little moments are so, like, spur of the moment, it's hard to, like, document that or something. Like, how do you guys plan on, like, trying to do that? 'Cause that's an interesting idea.
So one of our like sub mottos is for the people, which seems like a cliche, but it couldn't be more true. So what we're gonna do in my head, and Hope and I haven't necessarily talked it out yet, is give it to the people. You know, like let them nominate their own friends and people. And then hopefully we'll have a sizable platform for them to be rewarded or thanked, or just like feel acknowledged, that they've been spending their whole lives being this great person. No one asked them to be this great person. They just are.
That's really cool.
Because that's the way they feel like they need to be.
Yeah.
So I want to do a lot of video content. and a lot of like dynamic photos with great stories behind them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what comes to mind is like People of New York or whatever, something like that, where it's like portraits with like a cool story on like
exactly.
on Instagram, stuff like that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and that's how I had started the Instagram initially. Was every photo came like a pretty long story of like what I was going through at that time trying to get this done.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who want to understand people's process and they hide the process. Like they'll post a photo of the mountains, like them standing at the top of the mountain, like looking great. And they're like, oh, like YOLO, had an amazing time hiking today. But they don't realize it took them 5 hours. They had to retake that photo 30 times to get the right photo. They edited it 4 times. It's like I wanted people to understand what went into making the photos that I was making, what goes into the shirts that I'm making, the hats, the mugs, all of that. I want people to understand it so that if that's something they're interested in, it could theoretically help them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's one thing that my buddy Miles, I had him on the podcast recently. He's a photographer. It's one thing he's like amazing at with the Instagram stories is because like on all of his pictures, he always has like an awesome caption that's like super long, but like with the stories, he's been going like so in depth on like behind the scenes stuff and like cool little like inspirational daily stuff.
Yeah.
Like he has so much high engagement on his Instagram. It's crazy. Like he'll get like 80 comments, like 100 comments on his page. And obviously a lot of those comments are him like replying back to people too, but it's still like crazy to get that much engagement on your pictures, and it's just a photo of like a random girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's cool because he'll like include that in his normal content.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little blog or something. It's
And
cool.
there's just so much like fake like photos and like overdone things are so accessible right now. So it's like you're gonna stand out if you're honest and truthful.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what I started doing when I started this. I was like, I want to know how that person made that photo because I love the photo, but I know it's not real.
Yeah.
Like I know they're not that happy at that exact moment. Like I know they threw the confetti in the air 4 times to get the perfect smile,
Exactly.
So it's like I'd rather people be upfront and honest about their process than try and hide it. I went to this when I first started. I went to this, I guess it's a market called American Field, and it's all American made goods, which was interesting to me at the time. And I met with this lady, and she was like the only non-hipster young person there. Like she was maybe in her 40s or 50s. She like reminded me of like a friend's parent that I would just like love, like somebody you'd like to hang, like you'd like to go over to your buddy's house, and like their parents are just so cool. And this lady was so straightforward, and she reminded me of my dad a lot. And she was like, "Listen, you're trying to do this clothing company. It's going to be hard." She was like, "I was a real estate agent before this. I didn't know anything about this." She was like, "Here's my email." She was like, "Ask me anything." She was like, I just, there's no reason for people to hide processes anymore because everything is literally just a Google away. Like we can find out just about everything
Exactly.
from Google. And it's like, so why not help other people get to where they want to be? If you're so insecure that you can't even share your process with somebody, then your product probably isn't that great.
Wow.
You don't have that much confidence in it.
That's awesome that you say that because I totally agree 100%. Like that's one thing that kind of weirds me out a lot of times with people that have like online businesses where they're like, "I'll show you my process for $50 or whatever." And it's kind of like, there's probably someone else out there that'll show me this for free.
Yeah.
And it's not that your process doesn't matter, and it's not like I don't think that there's value there, but it's like, it would be really, I would respect you more if you were more transparent. And I can appreciate the kind of freemium model where like, I'll show you like the process here, and if you want to subscribe to this or whatever,
Sure.
I'll show you like more stuff or whatever, kind of like behind even more. And that's one thing that Gary Vee does to the max.
Oh yeah.
Like with Ask Gary Vee, for people that are listening that don't know Gary Vaynerchuk, he's an awesome entrepreneur. I hate to say motivational speaker because he doesn't really like that, but he kind of is, you know. But he gives like super, super, super practical stuff. And I've been following Gary Vee for like pretty much when I dropped out of college when I was like a freshman. And so I never finished either.
Oh, nice.
I know. What's up, Mom? And no, my mom doesn't care. She's really cool. But yeah, so I read Crush It, like his first book, and I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then when he started like the Ask Gary Vee show, that was just insane because it was just so much content because it was just him answering people's real questions in the most real way. And his main thing is like give, and then ask, where you give so much free content out that you literally like guilt people into buying your shit.
Of course.
Like literally that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast. Like I'm trying to pump out as many episodes as I can until who knows, until I start asking for money or doing ads or whatever.
Of course.
But then once I do, I'm going to be like, yo, you can't complain that I'm doing ads or that I'm asking because I've just given you 100 free awesome episodes that I've spent, like you've spent hours and hours and hours listening to them. Imagine how many hours and hours and hours I've spent doing them, planning them, scheduling them, making the content, getting you to even hear about the podcast, editing the podcast, putting it up, paying the bills, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So it's like, dude, I'm just trying to give, and then ask. Yeah,
and I actually learned something from him that has really helped our business was, don't ask on the first introduction. So what I would do is I would find like-minded businesses. And also I'm very willing to explain kind of my process of Instagram and navigating marketing to just about everybody because it's not a secret. I just figured out the best way to do it for myself. So I would direct message other companies in the area, both big and small. And I would say just about the exact same thing. And I would tailor the message to their company, obviously. And I would just give them genuine compliments. I would never reach out to a company I didn't like, you know?
Yeah.
And I would give them genuine compliments, just say, hey, just want to introduce myself. This is what I'm trying to do. This is who we are. This is why we do it. And yeah, just want to say hello, let you know we're here. Keep doing what you're doing because we love it.
Yeah.
And the responses were crazy. I mean, we had everybody from big companies to small responding to our messages saying, thank you, love it. And then we also had a percentage of those that were asking to collaborate or work with us. And it's just, I want to get my brand in front of as many people as possible. And it's going to be up to the people what they do with it. You know, I mean, I have my ideas of where I think it can go, but it's really up to the people that are involved in it. And that's everybody who wants to be.
Yeah.
You know? Seriously. So that was my method to reaching out to people, and we had people like West Elm come back, and so now we're doing a pop-up shop at the West Elm in
nice.
Pond City Market in September 2nd. We'll be there on that Saturday. So yeah, it's like cool opportunities come just when you even say hello.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, I love that, dude. Yeah, like, and that's one thing also about social media that people don't understand is they just want to sit on their page and make stuff. And it's like, you've also got to reach out and put in the sweat equity of actually taking your thumbs and finding the people you want to connect with, but not just saying, hey, want to collaborate?
Yes. No.
That's weird. Like, you wouldn't just walk up to a stranger and do that.
Yeah.
You'd say, hi, my name's Seth.
Exactly.
Like, that's exactly what you have to do. And in today's day and age where content is just floating like a fire hose, and you're like, how do I break through the noise? That's a great way.
Yep.
Just jump into someone's DMs and say what's up. Like, that's all you got to do.
Seriously.
And just say, hey, just want to let you know I'm here. That's
Don't
so
ask for
awesome.
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing that I've been doing with the podcast is on Facebook, like commenting to people.
Oh, cool.
And just trying to like bring value to whatever they're like talking about. And my profile picture is like me with my logo that says Andrew Deitch Podcast. 9 times out of 10, they'll message me like, yo, what's your podcast about? And I didn't even mention the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, like all you got to do is just say what's up. And
That's
then like
awesome.
people already are gonna like stalk you a little bit, and like you don't have to go, hey, by the way, I have this podcast. I would love it if you check it out and rate it 5 stars on iTunes. Like you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You can just jump in and say what's up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you don't even need to market yourself. And that was kind of the thing is, so we knew, at least I thought, that the products would sell themselves. So the whole point was initially to make doing good cool. I wanted people to feel like doing good was a cool thing that they could relate to their friends on, not be ashamed of. The fact that they liked being a kind person. Like you'll see like some guys walking through a doorway, and you'll see every dude walk through the door and not even think to look back. Then there's that one dude at the end of the group who will stand there and hold the door for the next person. You know, and I want to make that commonplace, like that it's not lame to do good. You know,
Or smile.
yeah, exactly. Just be a friendly and kind person.
Dude, I can't tell you how many people just walk around just like with a scowl on their face.
I know.
Or just you smile at them and they look just so puzzled. They're like, why is this guy so happy right now?
Dude, that was the strangest thing about living in New York is like it wasn't like taken as offense, but it definitely wasn't that like friendly to them was not talking to them. Like that was like
don't bother me.
You care about my personal space by not getting in my personal space or not addressing me because that's what I want. Like that was how they were kind to each other. And when you'd hold a door or like say thank you or yes ma'am, yes sir, like sometimes they would be weirded out, sometimes they would be offended, and sometimes they would be super grateful because it's never happened to them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not to say New Yorkers are necessarily rude. It's just a different culture. It's a culture of kindness is leaving somebody alone. You know, where Atlanta, it's getting all up in somebody's business.
Yeah.
And holding their hand while they walk through life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So true. One thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently is the idea of like stepping up your game like 1 or 2 points above everybody else. So like for example, like, you know, if you're trying to like dress well or whatever, if you don't have to wear like a tuxedo every day to like dress well. Like that's obviously a thing. But like if you're walking around the streets of Atlanta and you're wearing a tuxedo, you're gonna stand out like a sore thumb. And it's gonna be almost, it might even be like taken ironically. Like why are you what?
Yeah.
But like it only takes like a little bit of extra effort to like be a little more intentional with your outfit or whatever.
Sure.
Same thing happens with like being a nice person, doing good stuff. It's like, you know, in New York, if everyone's just kind of like, you know, I won't bother you, you won't bother me. Just like smiling or like holding a door or saying thank you. That's like a little thing that you can do. It's not going completely out of your way. It's not invading them. It's like, it's just like one little thing you can do that makes
like
them
that.
go, what?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Why'd you do that?
No, I totally like that. I like just taking it just to the next level of what you think is good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also doing it all the time. Because, like, I'm reading a book called The 10X Rule right now. It's by Grant Cardone. Like, tons of people read it. But, like, one thing he says is, like, it almost takes the same amount of effort to not do something than it is to do something. Because you're never just, like, passive. You're never just not doing things. And then his thing is, like, instead of just doing something, do it, like, 10 times the amount of everyone else. Because that's the only way you're going to get, like, actual real results. You can't just expect to get, like, massive results from, like, occasionally doing something.
Yeah. I mean, and so my parents used to say, do what you love and money will follow. And the other day I kind of amended that, and it was like, do what you love, be smart about it, do it for longer than everybody else, do it better than everybody else, and money will follow.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, true.
You have to like entrepreneurs, like what's his name, Jeff Bezos says entrepreneurs have to be okay with being misunderstood for long periods of time. And Gary says the exact same thing. He says, I went 10 years without seeing any of my friends, essentially, you know. And it's like you have to be okay with not going out that night. You have to be okay with people like hating on your brand. And you have to realize what they're doing. They're not hating on your brand. If it's a good brand, they're envious. they're very,
Totally.
very envious of what you're doing. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are that'll talk about me and Hope, and they'll say it's a dumb idea to their friends. They think it's stupid, but I know they don't think it's stupid, and there might be some of them who actually think it's dumb. But I would say the majority
Or that
of
you're
them,
wasting your time. That's what some people will say too. They're
Exactly.
like, it's never going to take off.
yeah, and that's
Or whatever.
fine. I'm fine with those people saying that. And I encourage it for my own sake, only because it'll just push me harder every single day.
Yeah. So I like really love Snapchat. That's like one of my big things.
I
Like
heard that.
I'm like obsessed with Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because I feel like Snapchat is like not losing to Instagram right now, but like there's definitely a weird thing because I feel like Instagram stories have a lot of pros right now.
Yeah.
But still love Snapchat. I've got the I put them somewhere. They were like sitting here. So
You got the glasses,
I've got
right?
the glasses.
Are you gonna bring
Oh,
them?
they're charging right over there. Yeah, I'm gonna bring them for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got the glasses. I also do this thing where I've got all my stuff is missing because I'm packing. But I've got these stickers that have my Snapchat code on them, and I'll put them places.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is when you scan someone's Snapchat code, you get to add them, right? Like you can add them on Snapchat. You know how like when you
gotcha.
pull down the little thing, you can add someone just by scanning their little code.
Oh, I've only been on Snapchat like 30 times.
Okay, so here, I'll show you something. Grab me that little yellow capsule, if you can reach it.
Yeah.
And it's plugged in, but
Oop.
it's okay. It had a little MagSafe thing.
There you
But-
go.
So this is like a little sticker, and it's like a
Okay.
QR code.
Okay.
And when you open up the Snapchat app and scan this, it'll add me as a friend.
I didn't know that.
It's pretty crazy. So, but yeah, these are the glasses. It's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
got a little
those
camera
are
in them.
so
But but anyway, so I have like a ton of these stickers printed out.
Yeah.
And what I do is I actually started this when I lived in Milan for 2 summers ago.
Uh-huh.
I was an au pair.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty tight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so, and I'm flying back there today. Super excited.
Yeah.
But what I did was I printed like 500 of these, and I just like put them everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, like I didn't really get anyone like adding me and stuff. And it wasn't because I wanted to add people like, oh, look at me, I'm like this cool guy on Snapchat. It was more like I wanted to kind of like leave a mark sort of on the place that I went. Like,
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I thought it'd be really cool to just be friends on Snapchat with like Italian people.
Yeah.
Because also like I'm there and I don't speak Italian and like
For sure.
trying to just connect with people. And it's crazy because I've met like so many people through
Yeah.
Snapchat that have like scanned my little codes. But anyways, I spend like tons of time like thinking about my stories that I'm gonna put up and like how the story's gonna flow and like redoing the snap if it's not good and like all this stuff. And like last year when I went to Tomorrowland, like so many people messaged me saying like, dude, your snap stories were like insane. I love it, blah, 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 blah. And I love creating that kind of content. Kind of like creating a movie or something.
For sure.
You're assembling a story and putting it out there for people to watch.
Absolutely.
And so yesterday or a couple days ago on Facebook, I posted a status saying like, "Yo, if you haven't added me on Snapchat, you should add me because this week is about to be crazy." Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I'll have to add you then.
Yeah, but this guy commented and he was like, "Thirsty,"
Yeah.
and I'm just like, dude.
Come on.
I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to brag here. I don't need the attention. Like,
Yeah.
I have like thousands of people that watch my snaps. Like, I don't need more people watching. I'm just trying to like give cool content. I want people
Yeah.
to see it. Like, I don't care how many people watch it.
Yeah.
If like 10 people were watching it, I'd be still stoked.
Yeah.
But like, I just want people who are my friends on Facebook. Like, if they want to see my cool stuff, like
Yeah.
add me because I'm about to be posting some cool stuff, and then in 24 hours it's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So like all that kind of stuff, and that kind of like irked me because I was like, you know, it was like someone that I know that's just like, oh, he just thinks that I'm just trying to be an attention whore. But it's like, no, dude, I'm
Yeah.
trying to like make something cool. And it's the same thing that you were saying. It's like some of your friends might like hate on it or like,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna be misunderstood for a while. Same thing with the podcast. I'm sure there's tons of people that,
Sure.
you know, didn't, you know, especially when I first launched.
Yeah.
Now that I think I've got like 30 episodes under my belt, people
Mm-hmm.
might be taking it a little more seriously because they're just like, oh wow, like he's actually doing work.
He's doing it.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the same kind of thing. It's like you're gonna have people that hate on you, and you can't let that stop you anyways, because people are gonna talk about you regardless of what you're doing or not.
Yeah.
And I think being talked about is better than being like some of the time too. People think that people are thinking about them. Dude, they don't even think about you ever.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather be thought about in a negative way than, like, not even acknowledged at all. Like, that you're just nobody.
Because that means you're making somebody think.
Exactly.
I mean, the way I would interpret the thirsty message is just like, all that guy wants, or girl, is for you to keep making more of those.
Probably.
I mean, like, it just sounds like why take the time to put somebody down if you didn't want a reaction? And
that guy's kind of a troll too, and like, if he's listening to this, he knows who he is. But and like, he's my friend. But at the same time, it's like and also another thing, a reason why people might want to comment that too is like, look at me, I'm not self-promoting myself. I'm totally comfortable.
Yeah.
Not being an attention whore.
Yeah.
And then it's like, on one hand, of course, there's a little bit of ego attached to it. Like,
Sure.
I want people to see it, but at the same time, it's like, I'm actually putting a lot of thought and effort into, like, trying to make my Snapchats good.
Yeah. Not
just, like, posting shirtless selfies or something, like, trying to get attention.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to make cool stuff.
Yeah. And that stuff, you just brush it off.
Exactly.
Look past.
Exactly. So with Do Good, though, you guys are launching, you said, in August?
August 9th.
Okay, cool. So, like, what is like the launch? Like, what are you guys doing to, like, plan for all that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have like a list of people that have reached out. I mean, dude, the amount of people that have direct messaged us on Instagram to like be a brand ambassador, to collaborate, to work for us is humbling. I mean, it's really insane. So we started. We're sending out stuff for brand ambassadors. Probably today or tomorrow, so we can have kind of cross promotion and hit more markets when we launch.
Of course.
So we'll be primarily launching online, just for the foreseen very near future.
Yeah.
Because through reaching out to people on direct message, we've had boutiques that have like followed up with us and stores that want to carry our stuff.
That's awesome.
And that'll take us putting time and energy and money into making the investment to get more product. So that's something we'll wait on for a month or two. But I mean, the possibilities will be endless. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see this company beyond. So our mission is our North Star. It's what's going to guide us. It won't necessarily change, but it can. So that would be to push other companies to donate, or large companies to donate percentages of their proceeds. And how we're going to do that is I would like to retail only companies that
are also following that.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So I want to be the hub, the website that you go to when you want to buy a gift for somebody and feel good about it, or you want to buy something for yourself and feel great about it. And I'd love to host those companies and just, essentially help them launch. Like, I want to be helped right now, Mm-hmm. I want to be that person for those people.
That's awesome.
Because this is not self-made. This is made by me and Hope, but it's like I'm not a self-made man. You can't do anything in life by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always going to be somebody that told you even the smallest piece of information that got you to that point where you felt like you could do it by yourself. So nobody did anything alone. Nobody did anything without asking for some sort of help along the way. So I'd like to be that person for other companies that are doing good, whether that's donating or volunteer opportunities, something like that. I just want it to be a great place for people to feel good about consuming.
Yeah, that's really awesome, man. Because another thing that I think is a pretty big trend is this like minimalist culture kind of thing where we don't want to have so many material objects. Like, if you just look around my room right now, I have so much like crap that I don't need. And like, I'm about to go away for like a week and a half, and all my stuff is going to fit in there.
Are you serious?
It's like, pretty much. Like, I've got a tiny bag, and that's a European carry-on too, because carry-ons in the U.S. are much bigger. Carry-ons in Europe and stuff, they don't let you carry as much stuff. So that is like all my stuff I'm going to put in there.
I want to give like a visual to people. It is like,
I think it's 20 inches tall.
Is it 20
with
20
the wheels,
inches
with
tall?
With the wheels.
It's like a foot deep and like a foot across, like that is
As big as my purse.
tiny.
It's pretty small.
Yeah, that's
pretty small.
But I guess you're going to a festival,
also,
so you're living
yeah.
living simply.
Yeah. I mean, so exactly. And like, that was one thing that was really, really crazy for me. So for the past 2 summers, I've been an au pair. In 2 summers ago, it was Milan. Last summer, I was in Madrid.
Oh, nice.
Wearing my Madrid shirt.
I like that.
But yeah, it's cool. It's like the Metro logo. So
Yeah,
normally
yeah,
it says
totally.
Metro, but it says Madrid. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like last summer too, I had like a backpack that was pretty full, and then also that, and that's what I had for like 3 months.
Whoa.
And that was it.
That's cool.
Because also I had like a bunch of connection flights and stuff, and I didn't want to like deal with having like my bags. all
Lug
that
a
stuff.
big bag around.
So anyways, I lived with like a couple pairs of shoes, a few outfits, all that stuff for like 3 months. And like the whole time I was there, I was thinking like, dang, I have so much crap back at home, and I don't even have access to it, and I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, why do I even need all this stuff?
Exactly.
And so it's like with your mission, like you're saying, it's like we want to create stuff that people can be like. Yes, they're apparel and stuff, but I like how it's like kind of basic stuff where you can wear it all the time. You can feel comfortable wearing it in any situation.
Yeah.
It's also, because everyone needs shirts.
Sure.
Like everyone needs to wear a shirt at some point. But the cool thing is too is like if I am going to have a shirt, I only want to have 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have one, I want one that's like I can feel good about having
Make it
and like has a
purposeful.
cool message too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so here's the interesting thing. I can sit here and tell you right now, I don't have the coolest shirt in the world. Mm-hmm. I have the coolest shirt, I think, but I know it's not the coolest shirt in the world. People aren't going to agree on that collectively.
Because it's an opinion.
Yeah, it's a great product. It's quality material. It's very well made, and that's great. But people have a billion options of T-shirts, things, of hats, of anything they can buy. So how do you differentiate yourself from those other things? If your design gets you to a certain point, like your fabric, your feel, everything gets you to a certain point, how do you differentiate yourself? And you have to have a clear purpose. Like when I get very discouraged when I hear of like new clothing companies popping up, and they don't have a story. Like they're not supporting anything. They're not standing for anything, because I think people now know, and I now know, it's easy to make quick money on clothes. It's very simple. So like your T-shirt right now is a Madrid logo of the Metro system. So there's this guy who actually wrote this free blog, and it's awesome. And it's called How I Started a T-Shirt Business in 36 Hours. And what he did was he went through and he took the metro stations from, I believe it's like either Toronto or Vancouver, and he took their logos and put it on a T-shirt. And he made, let's say there was 50 stops. He made 50 different T-shirts, made it in less than 24 hours, made a little Shopify website, and had hundreds of dollars in sales the next morning when he woke up. And he didn't even know he had launched it. Like, he didn't mean to. So it's like, yeah, you can do that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can start a clothing company
find it?
right now. I have no idea. But that's literally to the point, is that it's so accessible. Everybody can do it. It's not that hard. It is hard to create a sustainable business that'll last forever. You know, and that really is the goal, is to create a career for myself out of something I'm super passionate about, because I know I'll always be able to start. So I had started making neighborhood T-shirts for Atlanta neighborhoods, and I ended up scrapping that idea for now, just because I was like, well, this doesn't contribute to my purpose at all. Like, this is just a cool way to make some extra money. People will really enjoy them when I do launch them. But it's like, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to make people feel good, you know? And so that'll come later. But yeah, it's just, if you don't have a good purpose, a great story, and you're not trying to help people, then what are you doing? Like, I mean, like, your podcast is a perfect example of that. Like, you were sitting here interviewing somebody who really, really wants a platform to be heard. And you do that with, I'm sure, everybody. Everybody wants to get their message across. And I'm sure you only bring people on with great messages, you know?
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I all of them so far have been great. Like, I haven't had any that I'm like, damn, wish I wouldn't have done that podcast. Because all of them have been awesome.
Exactly.
And I think also when you put out, it's kind of like the law of attraction sort of thing. It's like when you put out cool stuff, like people are attracted to that. Like Alan might have not made the introduction for us if I didn't have this kind of platform or whatever, because he would just be like, oh yeah, you know, like you just wouldn't have thought of it, you know, it just wouldn't have been a thing. And so it is cool when you can, when I, like now I'm finding all these awesome stories and platforms and stuff where it's like, you want a launching pad, I have something that can help with that. And it's really, really cool how I've been able to collaborate with a lot of awesome people. And I love what you're saying about the story, because I love storytelling. Like I was talking about Snapchat stories. I love like creating that. It's a huge part of digital content, because if you don't have a story that's compelling, like no one gives a shit.
No.
Like no one cares.
It's a boring movie.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a boring movie. It's a dumb, like, that's one thing I see so many Instagrams that like so many Instagram pages where their thing, like all their posts are just like so non-valuable.
Yeah.
I don't understand why anyone would follow them unless they're like a personal friend of that company or like whatever.
And it's like it's like at the top it's just like stay free and adventure well.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing here? Like I agree with those things, stay free and adventure well, but you gotta have something more if you want to create something sustainable. I can't stand that.
Stay free and adventure well. That's so funny. It's Seriously. So true though. It's so true.
And
yeah.
like they'll caption their photos with like the same type shit as well. And I don't want to hate on those companies, but I hate those companies.
Another thing that's funny is seeing people that have like a digital, like, okay, so it's so easy to become like a digital marketer, and you can help people with their online presence.
Oh, man.
And their online presence is terrible.
How many people have reached out to us, and they have like 12 followers. And we're like, what?
I want them, like, I know they probably know the right things to do. And I was actually talking to my marketer buddy about that exact thing. I was like, dude, what is the deal with these digital marketing, like, seemingly huge companies with great websites that have 100 followers? I'm like, and he said it's like a known thing that marketers or digital marketers are horrible at digital marketing themselves. Because no one wants to follow a digital marketing company that doesn't create unique, interesting, engaging content.
That's my thing.
Which is their goal as a company.
Exactly, dude. Like,
if you can't do it for yourself, you can't do it for me.
Exactly. That's my thing. Like, you know, I don't want to name names, but like I've had a couple friends that have, you know, tried to do that. They're like, yeah, I'm thinking about starting like a digital marketing company. Like, you know, like my dad's friend's business, like he's trying to create like an online presence. I'm going to like help him out. I'm like, dude, like I hate to break it to you, but like, your stuff's not popping. Like, I understand, like, maybe you don't care. Like, no, sometimes people don't care. Like, people don't even care how many Instagram followers they have. It's just for fun or whatever.
Yeah.
Totally respect that.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you want to get respect from someone, you got to kind of, like, either, my thing is, like, do it for free for someone until you can kind of prove that you're worth being paid for. Or
love that.
Do it yourself and prove that prove your worth of it.
Exactly.
Like, if you're going to be a digital marketer, like, show on your platform not only that you have like 12,000 followers, because follower count doesn't really mean anything, because you could have a bunch of spam bots or, you know, whatever following you. Like, check out your engagement. Like my buddy Miles I was talking about, it's like, how many comments are you getting on your photos? How many, you know, likes or whatever, you can pay for likes too, but comments are, I think, like a huge telltale sign
100%.
Of like a thriving thing. And I'm not going to lie, on my Instagram for my podcast, like, I'm not getting the best engagement. Like, I'm getting some comments and stuff, but I also, right now, I have like an Instagram bot on there, which I've already talked about before. Some people are like, dude, why would you do that? Your whole thing is about being transparent and all this stuff.
He told you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, I did say that. My reason for doing that, just so I can put it out there. Yeah. I've talked about it on another podcast. Can't remember which one it was. But my thing is, all the bot is set to do is like certain like hashtags and go follow certain people that follow other people.
It's like follow liker or something.
Exactly. It's just following and liking stuff. Yeah. It's not commenting spam stuff. And another thing that irks me is when there's like a automated DM to me, like when I follow someone and they're like, thanks for following, blah, 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 blah. And I can tell it's like not even personalized at all.
Hate it.
Or they'll comment on my thing like, nice pic, with like a thumbs up emoji. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
and I've heard of that going wrong, where like it'll be like somebody like at their grandparents' funeral, and it'll be like, nice pic, thumbs up.
Exactly. And that's why I like the follow or the like, because you can never go wrong with the follow or the like.
Exactly.
Because the like, that's the point. Like Instagram, that's like the main like, yo, what's up? I like it.
exactly.
Or, whatever. It's not like someone puts an Instagram post up and doesn't want people to like it. So, the like and the follow thing. And the main reason also is because it's like set to target specific followers. So you actually do get targeted followers. It's cool. Like kind of like what you were saying. You just want more eyeballs in front of it. Like I have had people that have reached out to me that are like, yo, this is really awesome. How did you find me? I'm like, I followed you because you're...
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
No, but it is kind of cool how like there have been real followers that follow me, and of course there's tons of fake accounts that follow me and stuff too. But I'm eventually probably going to take it off. But also I kind of wanted to do it in the beginning just to try it. My friend told me to do it for me for free, so I was like, cool.
Yeah.
But anyways,
awesome.
To get off all that. But Instagram too is like a big part of y'all's platform, right? Because that's kind of what it like started off as.
It's 100% of the business right now, and there's no business right now.
Hey.
No, I mean, so...
No, but a business is more than just, like, making money, too, because, like, in the beginning, you have to, like, make all the groundwork.
Absolutely.
Like you said with that guy that just started an online business in 36 hours, like, how are you going to create something that's sustainable? If you're going to build a house, you got to build your foundation first.
Exactly.
And that's the case with everything.
Yeah, and that's why I think we'll stand the test of time. And I can't even really say anything yet because we haven't sold anything yet other than my brother-in-law. He bought 2 T-shirts.
There we go. Shout out to your brother-in-law.
Nice guy. Yeah, I had him sign the first the $10 bill. It was great.
That's awesome. But so when you launch, you said you're going to be collaborating with some people and stuff too.
Oh yeah,
so that's going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So
you're tapping into their audience.
Exactly, and that's been super cool, and people are totally willing to do it. And honestly, at this point, I haven't had to necessarily reach out to people to find them. They've reached out to us, which is really, really cool. And the biggest thing that has made me the happiest when I get a new message or a new comment is people saying, dude, I love your clothes. Clothes are great. I love your why. Like I've literally had people say, I love your why. Like I love your purpose. And which means to me, they've also read through like the older posts where I talk about it even more. And that is just so cool to me because that is just validation that if you start with why, everything else is going to kind of follow after. Mm-hmm. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. And that's everything, man. Cause if you think about it, all the brands that I wear and all the, stuff that I do, most of the reason behind it is not just cause, sometimes, it's like a cool shirt or like cool design or whatever. But most of the time you're buying into the story. Mm-hmm. You think about, and also another thing is like, think about so like your friends, right? They're going to be wearing probably, your clothes, but also they're going to be wearing other stuff. And there's some people that are kind of like, I don't want to wear do good because like, then I'm going to feel like I'm just like, I'm just like stroking this guy's ego or whatever. It's like people are going to ask me, I'm like, it's my friend's thing, whatever. But like my big thing is like, why would you not want to support like coming up stuff and like people that are your friends, right?
Absolutely, dude. I totally agree. like you're wearing a wool hat right now.
Yeah. Like
you
my
don't
buddy
have
Chad.
to be.
Yeah.
You're choosing to wear it.
Yeah.
Because you like it, and you weren't embarrassed to wear that in front of me because I have a different clothing company.
That's another thing. I actually didn't even think about it until we started recording. I was like, oh yeah, I'm wearing this wool hat. I was like, because you talked about Chad. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm wearing Chad's hat. Like,
yeah, which I think
hat.
is awesome because you're repping your buddy and you like the product.
Exactly.
And that's what I want. I don't want my friends to like feel ashamed to wear this around me. And I don't know that they necessarily will, but I'm sure there are people out there who will buy stuff who wouldn't necessarily wear it around me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. There's like a weird pride thing when you're envious of somebody or something.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, think about this. So this is what I tend to think about all the time. And I was in a company a while ago called Vima. Did you ever hear about Vima? It's like network marketing. Anyways, so one thing they always talk about is that we're constantly advertising stuff, brands, whatever, all the time. Why not advertise for something that you would get paid for? And like that was our whole thing. It's like, is whatever, we're marketing this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, like one thing for me is like, I'm going to wear a hat anyways. Why not wear my buddy's hat and support his thing?
For sure.
I'm going to wear these Adidas shoes. Adidas has never done anything for me.
Yeah,
like Stan
exactly.
Smith, I don't even know who he is. Like Like, he's never done jack shit for me, but
That's
like,
funny.
you know, I'm repping his name on the back of my shoe, like, you know.
Seriously.
And it is weird when you think about it that way, because it's so ingrained in our society and our brains that, like, Nike is just this, like, thing. But everyone wears Nike, but it's like, what's Nike ever done for you?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I wear Nikes. Nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're going to wear a t-shirt, like, and your friend has a t-shirt company, like,
If you like their t-shirts, wear them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if it's dog shit, then, like, obviously don't wear it.
Exactly.
But, like, and if you don't actually support it or like it, or, you know, the live free and adventure doesn't inspire you, then don't wear it. But, like, if they have a cool thing going on, or your friend makes music and, you know, or all this, you know, it's like, it is weird how there's a social stigma of, like, supporting your friends.
Which is
and
so
just supporting stuff
stupid.
that doesn't matter.
Dude, it is so counterintuitive and so stupid. Like, you have to try harder to not support your friends than support your friends. And that's something that's helped me when my friends have ideas now. Whether I think it's the best idea or not, I'm going to challenge them and question them and try and help them get better at that idea, because I hope they do the exact same for me. And people definitely do that all the time. And they ask a lot of times bad questions or like demeaning questions. But as long as you remember, a lot of the times that comes out of a place of envy or want or whatever. Like, you can look past it and move forward.
Totally.
That's definitely been tough. Is just people. I don't know. Just the envy is strange.
Yeah, the envy is weird too, because also sometimes people are like, I could do that, but I'm just not, because I know that it's gonna suck. Or, you know, like, well, I could make a podcast too, but like, I'm not, because like, it's just gonna be as bad as yours. So like, I'm not even gonna, or whatever, you know. Yeah. And now it's like you said, it goes back to the jealousy thing a lot of times. Yeah. And that was another reason why I started this podcast too, is because, you know, there are some people that cannot carry on a conversation. Sure. And there are some people that would be really bad podcast hosts. And I've actually listened to, like, I typically only listen to really good podcasts because they're the ones that I like. But now that I've jumped into this podcast space and trying to support other podcasters, I've listened to some podcasts that just aren't very good. Yeah. And the hosts are just very awkward, and the audio quality might be terrible or whatever. Sure. Yeah. And nothing against that. I really appreciate you guys trying to do something and make something, and, you know, that's awesome. But at the same time, it's like, you know, these people, they want to just jump out and attack, like, immediately. And, you know, that's just not what you want to do, man. No, like, man. Don't be jealous. Either do something about it and make something on your own. Like, if you're like, I don't, like, do good, I'm going to make my own thing. Cool, like, do it. Yeah. But don't just sit around and hate about it. Exactly. And, like, talk shit about it or whatever.
And we've had, like, such a slow build over the past year. And I'm so glad we set our date, like, annoyingly far away when we set it. Yeah. Like, the launch date, because it was, like,
it's coming up soon, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's coming up pretty
fresh
quick.
Time right now.
That's awesome.
We're actually going to go probably to a coffee shop right after this and keep working on the website.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, so I think it's cool. I think when you do something for a longer period of time than when your friends think you could or would or should, I think that's always encouraging to your friends. And they're like, oh, damn. Like, Andrew, he actually stuck with that podcast. Like, is he still making them? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. He's, like, actually sticking to something.
Exactly.
Which is, like, it's motivating for other people.
Exactly.
Whether you know it or not.
Totally. You've got to, like, break through that period of, like, the failing and quitting point.
Dude.
And, you know, for me, that was, like, when I launched, I already had, like, 8 full episodes. So I was already kind of like, okay, I think people are going to take this seriously. Mm-hmm. I think that was a big reason why people even listened in the first place, because they were so curious. Like, oh, shit, like, he's actually doing a lot of stuff. And like, wait, he just released another podcast today? Didn't he just release one yesterday? Yeah. Like, wait, he's released like 4 this week? What is this guy doing? And like, what is he, you know, and so there's all this, you know, whatever, you can call it hype or whatever. I don't know if I would use that word, but sure. You know, I think it's mainly curiosity. And absolutely. That's a big thing too. When you launch, like, there's going to be a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of people listening to this right now that are inspired to, like, create something or do something or make something or whatever. What kind of, like, practical advice would you, like, give to those type of people, you know?
Sure. I would say if you have a good idea, sit on it. And I would say ask yourself the questions you wouldn't want to be asked. So ask the hardest questions you could imagine. Force yourself to justify why you're doing what you're doing.
Because you're going to be asked them.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Every single time. We were sitting last night at a bar, and we were working on our computers, and I showed like a friend that I had seen that worked at the Escape Game with me.
Nice.
And I was like, oh yeah, we're launching like a goods and apparel company, and she was like, oh cool. She was like, so what is Do Good? And I was like, like it's so many things, you know? So I think asking yourself and knowing your purpose very, very well, and having a great story behind why you're doing what you're doing is the most important. It is the foundation. Like what you were saying, it is the foundation for your house, for your business, for your brand, is having a strong purpose. Because if you don't know why you're doing something, then your what doesn't fucking matter. No one cares.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you'll make money, but you're not going to make long time money.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not going to engage people. You're not going to help people.
Yeah, and you're not going to garner an audience. Yeah. You're going to get a one-time, one-and-done kind of thing, and
exactly,
that's cool if that's what you're after.
Totally. But, look at fidget spinners. Dude, they're in and out, and they really tried to help people for a minute there, and they're like, oh, people with ADHD or ADD can use these, and then teachers were like, no, these are super annoying.
Yeah, and then you've got like the people that are just trying to create content over like any of the newest things. So like in every viral video, like there's some guy doing something dumb with a fidget spinner or whatever, and it's like this was hype for like 2 weeks and now it's gone.
Yeah.
Another thing, what are, you said like some of the hard questions. What are some of the hard questions that you've gotten that like kind of maybe even stumped you at first, or the questions that you had to ask yourself?
Oh yeah, so this question comes up all the time, only because there is other brands that use the words "do good" on their product. So people will be like, oh, like you're probably gonna have to change your name. Like, why? And they're like, ugh, look at this. And they'll show me like a photo of another clothing company that has a shirt that says "do good" on it. I'm like, oh, sick. That's awesome. That's super encouraging to me that other companies think it's also smart to create content that says "do good" on it. Like, that's super cool to me. As long as it's not in my likeness, like it doesn't look like my logos, the more the merrier. Like, I don't care. Like, the Paul Walker Foundation has a shirt that says "do good." There's like a couple other companies that have "do good" shirts. That's fucking amazing. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. That is literally what I'm trying to do. And all they're doing is using their larger platform to spread my message, Yeah. And so that's something that's comes up all the time. There's a million podcasts. I'm sure people are like, well, how are you different? And it's like, oh, well, you should just listen to it.
Exactly.
Because that's how I'm different. I bring different people on. I have different conversations.
Totally.
It's a conversation.
Totally. Another thing that came up in the beginning especially was like my dad. He was like, 2 hours? It's like, who's got time to listen to something for 2 hours? And I was just like, like I hate explaining, because here's my thing is, another thing that irks me is when people create a product that they would not themselves be proud of or use, Yeah. It's like a really, and so for me, my favorite types of podcasts are long form conversational podcasts. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know if you listen to podcasts. I love like the Joe Rogan show. Joe Rogan Experience is like one of my favorite podcasts. And it was my huge inspiration behind mine, because he has varying guests. Like, all of his guests are so different. They are varying in length. Some of them are an hour, some of them are 3 hours, some of them are 4 hours. Like, yeah. And he's got he's very smart. He can keep a conversation. He's funny, all that kind of stuff. And like, that was my big inspiration. And so I knew that if I created a podcast that was somewhat similar to that, obviously putting my own flavor into it, and of course different guests, because I can't swing the same guest that he's getting. Yeah. So it's like totally different content, but the same kind of feel. I know that people are going to be into that because I'm personally into it, and millions of other people are into it too. Yeah. And that's why when people say like 2 hours, who's going to listen to a podcast for 2 hours? I'm like, you'd be surprised. Like, I listen to lots of podcasts that are 2 hours. Yeah. It's like reading a book. You don't read it all in one sitting. You like sit down and listen to some of it, and then like you'll take a break, or you'll do your work, and then you'll come back and listen to more. And so I'm like, that kind of question doesn't irk me. It's just like more of, I've got to explain this to you. Like, trust me, millions of people love this type of stuff. And another thing that people ask me about all the time, they're like, so are you going to edit this down or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to like leave this conversation how it is. Like, that's what I like. Like
you're like, did you not like the conversation?
Yeah, and that's another thing is, some podcasts are chopped up and they take some of
Sure.
the quote unquote boring parts out of it or whatever. And I'm sure there's gonna be parts of this conversation that people are like not as into, and there's some other parts they're gonna really vibe with, and that's totally cool. That's the same thing with anything, Yeah. And I've gotten like so much positive feedback that it's really encouraging. But even if I wasn't getting that feedback, I would still be motivated to make this type of content because I know that's the content that I love listening to, and I already know there's like an audience there for that kind of stuff because there's tons of other podcasts that are very similar.
Absolutely. You know the things you like better than other people do.
Exactly.
And oftentimes the things you like are the things you might be best at.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And like Bill Cosby, I hate to quote Bill Cosby because he's not the best guy to quote, but he said, just off the I'm going to edit that out. I heard a quote one time that said, I don't know the key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody.
Yeah.
And
100%.
And I don't want to picture him saying that because I'm sure that you can misconstrue it in a lot of other ways. But the key to failure is trying to please everybody.
The irony is hilarious.
Yeah, it's quite bad. But he's just like, I'm not going to please everybody, so I'm going to do me.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, that's a...
But no, it's true. And that's what we were talking about. I think we started talking about this before the podcast because you're like, can I swear or whatever? I'm like, yeah. And Gary Vaynerchuk, like we talked about him already, he's one of the biggest inspirations behind that because he's like, if I'm having to change the way that I want to portray myself, then I'm not truly being myself, and that's doing a disservice to my true fans. And I'm only trying to impress people that wouldn't necessarily listen to me unless I don't curse. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how my podcast is. I'm like, I'm not going to pretend that I don't ever swear. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be excessive with it and be dropping the F-bomb every 2 seconds or whatever.
Sure.
But when it's appropriate and when I feel like it and whenever, I'm just going to say what I want to say.
Because that's authentic. That's Andrew.
Yeah.
And people want to see that in your business.
And some people don't know that Andrew. Like the people at work, like they don't really know that Andrew because I'm trying to be professional and I'm not swearing there and whatever. And some people might listen to it and go, oh my gosh, like, ooh, Andrew's a little more,
He's rough around the edges. Yeah. He probably drinks. Drugs.
That was amazing. But, like, that's the kind of thing. And even my parents listening to it, and they're like, you don't say those words around us. And I'm kind of like, well, that's because I act different when I'm around you. Like, I hate to say it, but like...
Exactly. And that's okay.
And that's cool. Yeah. And so anyways, the big thing about Gary Vaynerchuk was kind of like, I was telling you earlier, he kind of swears on purpose to kind of make his audience more narrow.
Sure.
Because those are the people that truly, like, are fans of his.
Absolutely.
And so, like, with my podcast, I don't want to, like, change anything or whatever. I want to be as transparent as possible because then the people that are actually listening are the real, true, like, fans, and they really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I would love to be on all markets, but I know I'm not going to. I know there's always going to be people that will not like doing good outwardly, when I was doing
frown more.
When I was doing my
that's their shirt.
Yeah, you frown more. When I was doing my trademark search, I saw this company pop up. They were called Satanic Do-Gooders, and I was like, that is hilarious. But it's just like there's always markets I won't be able to hit. There's always people that aren't gonna like me. There's always gonna be people that think what I'm doing is dumb. And that's fine. As long as I know that those things are always going to happen, I can proceed the exact same way that I would have had they all been supporting me. You just know that you're always going to alienate somebody. Just do your best to mitigate the damage control.
And I feel like that being said, we've definitely had a good support system, though.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you have to have people around you that tell you to keep going, that tell you they like their stuff even when they don't.
They challenge you because they care. And they really want you to succeed.
Oh, 100%.
It's very true.
Or jump on board just to be a friend and not asking for anything in return.
Absolutely. Like that's the biggest thing. Oh, that was actually one of the other questions that I think people should ask themselves that are trying to start a business is what like actual value are you bringing to people? Yes, you're doing digital marketing, but how is that helping those people? So it's like, are you helping small businesses succeed? Are you creating a place for beautiful artwork to be viewed? It's like what actual value are you giving to people? Because if you're not giving value, then they're not getting value.
Yeah, and another thing about podcasts too that I keep taking it back to podcasts because that's what I'm relating to, and we're on a podcast right now.
Yeah.
But one thing that Yeah, this thing's been recording this whole time.
Oh shit!
I swore too many times. I had a limit. But one thing that people are sometimes ashamed of is creating entertaining content.
Yeah.
Like, because that's valuable too. Like, even if you don't learn anything necessarily, or even if you're just talking shit with one of your buddies and they're not necessarily promoting anything or selling anything, or like just the entertainment, just providing camaraderie to the listener, or whatever. That's value too. And like people kind of shame that sometimes because they're it's kind of people think it's like an attention whore kind of thing where you're just trying to seek attention and get people to listen to you. Who should even care what you're saying, all that kind of stuff. But there's people.
Yeah, dude, I am the biggest sucker for mindless Facebook videos. You know when you click on a video and you can keep scrolling down, like on your phone? I am
just get stuck on a loophole.
Dude, it's so bad.
Or a wormhole, I should say.
Luckily now they started incorporating ads in the middle of videos, so when I see an ad,
snaps you out of it.
Instantly out of it. Sorry, Facebook. Switch it up. I'm not gonna buy a Stanley flask from you right now. That is what I've been targeted for, is for Stanley flasks. Like, like the thermos company. It's this dude taking a shot, then taking a sip out of his flask, taking a sip out of his beer, taking a sip out of his flask. It's like, I have watched it 1,000 times. I hate it. I want to move forward. But yeah, I'm a sucker for like that mindless entertainment. There is absolutely a place for it, and especially when people do it well. Like, I've seen a lot of people do very poor mindless entertainment. Like once Vine kind of went viral, people started jumping on because they were like, oh, these people are getting agents, they're getting money, they're building literally businesses out of being entertaining. And then you started to see the tail end of the talented people start to get a platform, and you're like, oh, this is bad mindless entertainment. Like it went from really good, really funny, really natural to like really bad, really contrived, not funny.
Have you ever heard the comedian Mike Birbiglia?
Of course, yeah.
Have you ever heard anyone tell you kind of like your voice kind of sounds like him?
No, that's
the way you just said that reminded
compliment.
me of like, because you're just like, oh no, like
yeah.
It's like totally Mike Birbiglia. Like you see the tail end of the content, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, dude, he's an improviser, and so that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. Is I do improv at a Village Theater in Atlanta on Decatur Street.
Nice.
349 Decatur.
Shameless.
Yeah, just a little shameless plug. Yeah, totally thirsty. Please come to my show. No, seriously, please. But yeah. So I do improv over there. I do a show every Thursday, and then I have a hip hop team also. So we do improvised freestyle rap.
No way.
In the form of long form improv.
Whoa. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So at any time we'll be doing like a scene. Somebody can call kick it, and then I'll start beatboxing. We'll all start kind of join in, and then you'll continue the scene rapping.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm fascinated with improv and freestyling because I'm so bad at it, I feel like.
Really?
You know? Like, I can totally improv.
Yeah.
Freestyle rapping, though, no way. Because I can't rhyme stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I can do, like, 3 or 4 bars, but then I'm just, like, done.
Oh, yeah. Dude, for sure. It is extremely hard because it is the epitome of letting your mind go.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Totally.
Because if, like...
and as soon as you're self-conscious, you, like, end it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you literally freeze up when you become self-conscious about what you're saying.
Because you think about what you're going to say, and then you're like, blah, 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 and then it already passed, and you ruined it.
Yeah, and it's fine. And if you make up a word or something like that, you're making it up. It's fine. It's going to be all right. The audience will forget it in a second, and just keep rolling. It's when you end on a bad word that didn't make sense, that people are like, what was that? What did he just do?
That's awesome.
Dude, it is so challenging. It really takes you... You're forced to be out of your own headspace.
That's so cool. Have you ever heard the guy Harry Mack, the improviser? Dude, that guy is amazing.
Dude, he is insane.
He's like the best freestyle rapper I've ever seen. Oh,
absolutely. Dude, when I saw his video on Venice Beach the other day, and he definitely has an awesome formula for the way that he does his verses. And he comes back to the same type of things. Like, he says his name all the time, which is a great filler because he has a cool name. But it's just like his references, like his mind is just looking around, it's tracking, and it's pulling information in, picking one very quickly, doesn't matter what it is, and then rolling with it.
Yeah.
And it's when you think too much. Like I take Adderall, so when I take it, I won't rap. Or I won't take it so I can rap because I'm thinking about so many things at once. They're all like coming at my head. They're coming into my brain. They're all converging. And then it's just like one big jumble and I can never pull anything out. And I'll just like stop. Like words just like won't come to my head. It's crazy.
Yeah, because when you're on Adderall, you want to like focus on one thing. Yeah. And when you got to focus on like 10 things, it's like impossible. That makes sense.
Exactly. It's like when you're sitting around with your buddies and you're smoking weed.
Everyone can relate to this.
Yeah, and you have that one friend that just wants to freestyle, and he'll start freestyling, and you're like, oh, that was like pretty good, and it's because his mind was just so relaxed, he didn't care
true.
What he thought you guys wanted him to say, you know?
Exactly.
And he just flows, and like that's awesome. Like you get in a flow state, and you're like, yeah, go for it.
Maybe there's a reason why rapping is connected to weed so much then.
Oh, 100%.
Because it makes a lot of sense, actually. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously there's the creative aspect of it and stuff, but I specifically remember, like you said, when you're sitting around with your buddies smoking weed in high school, there was like a couple of my friends who would always just want to freestyle whenever we smoked.
Dude, for
sure. That's the only time they felt comfortable doing it, I think.
Exactly, and that's that's why I like improv, because you can feel comfortable doing just about anything in front of an audience because they all know it's made up. They know it's not necessarily you, and it gives you the freedom to be a million different people. Like literally, like quite possibly, like you could be 50 different people, very different in one show. You know?
That's awesome.
And
I feel like I need to like try doing that.
Dude, you do. Or you need to at least come to a show and see if you enjoy it.
I've seen some improv before. Have you ever been to the Basement Theater before?
Yeah.
I know the guy who owns it, J-Star. He's really cool. And I've gone to some of the improv shows there before. And it's like super fun. My thing is my mom always says this, is like, you should have done theater and you just never did.
Yeah.
And like I never did.
Yeah.
And like I love doing like voices and improv, like not what's the word I'm trying to do? When you're impersonations.
Yeah.
When you're impersonating, what's the word that when you're impersonating someone?
Yeah.
Impersonations, like I love doing impersonations and accents and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And like, especially at work, I have some really like goofy friends at work, and we are constantly just doing characters and stuff. Do you know the guy Kyle Mooney? He's like on SNL now. Yeah. Dude, we were like constantly doing Kyle Mooney's impersonations and stuff. Like, dude,
is that Hanglo and Bashbon?
Dude, Python bread, dude. Python bread, Hanglo and Bashbon.
Dude, that is literally what me and the owners of the company talk about all the time.
Oh my god, dude, Kyle Mooney is like my hero. Have you seen his new movie that is coming out?
No.
He has a movie with The Lonely Island that's coming out in like 6 days or something.
Oh, cool.
And it's called Brigsby Bear.
Oh,
and like he's the main character, and like the premise is like his whole life he was watching this show called Brigsby Bear, and like I think he was like a test subject for it or something, where like his whole life revolved around it. And all of a sudden the show got canceled, and then he had like no purpose in life because he didn't know anything except for Brigsby Bear.
Oh, shit.
And so like the rest of the movie is him trying to like create the next episodes of Brigsby Bear. It looks awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it looks fantastic,
dude. So that
was a paid plug by the way.
Yeah.
Kyle Mooney,
he did lie. He got a sponsor. It's monetized.
I've had so many. Every time I'm Stan Smith.
Yeah, exactly. Adidas? Really? Wow.
Yeah. Hit me
dude,
up.
They are a perfect example of like people who just put content out into the world because they thought it was fun, and it worked out well.
Yeah, and like years later, it has stood the test of time.
Seriously.
Like all those old videos that they have, I will still go back and watch some of them and like die.
And it's like, it's budget friendly. Like they don't try too hard. Like I'm sure they write scripts for their stuff, but they don't get like the best cameras and lighting. Like it's just like a bunch of buddies hanging out, filming something that they spent a lot of time working on.
And it's like purposely low budget. Like the ones where he does like, this is Alex Matheson, you know we getting it in. And it's like the little kid. Yeah. It's literally so low budget on purpose because it's trying to be like a little kid making a video.
Exactly.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. Anyone listening to this right now, go look up Kyle Mooney on YouTube and just watch
Good Neighbor Stuff.
Hours. Yes, Good Neighbor Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Good Neighbor Stuff was their collective.
Yeah,
and then Kyle started making videos on his own. But anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, you need to
I want
check out some improv.
I know. I need to like And I've also like always toyed with the idea of like trying to do stand up or something like that too.
Oh yeah.
But I've just never like.
Dude, it's so scary to me, stand up.
Yeah. But you do improv.
Dude, I would rather improvise a stand up set in front of a full audience than write a set and then perform that set for people. See, literally, genuinely, I have so much fun talking on microphones that I think I could hold a crowd better improvised than I could written. And that may be a testament to my writing or me knowing myself, but I don't know. It's so scary though.
That's so funny.
Like having a written set is terrifying to me for some reason.
My thing is like I like to, like, so for example, when I do the intros for the podcast, I like write it all out, but then I'll also kind of go off script and stuff. I kind of enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had a script for my like stand up, it would just, I wouldn't know the exact words necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that they say about like going to open mic nights and stuff. You're always just trying to work on what the exact wording is going to be, and every time you do it, it's going to be slightly different.
Exactly.
So, but I kind of enjoy the like writing part. But the cool thing about when you are a stand-up, you don't know what's really funny until you do it in front of a crowd.
Seriously.
And
you really don't.
Yeah, and if you have this written thing, like you said, it's kind of scary. If you have this written thing and you don't even know if it's funny until you do it.
Yeah.
When you're doing your improv, you can kind of feel the crowd and like know what's going to make them laugh based on like what they've kind of laughed at previously or whatever, if they're laughing at all. But if you have this written thing and like all of a sudden one of your jokes falls flat, you're like, oh shit, like isn't the next one going to fall flat?
Yeah.
Like, should I just kind of like
Should I
wing
just
it?
get off stage?
Yeah.
I'll just go. I'm going to go.
Well, look at the time.
Look at it. Like he did 30 seconds.
Gotta go tie my
tight set
hamstring. Gotta leave.
Yeah. Dude, it's so funny because I think a lot of people like hosts are good at improv inherently because improv's basis is listening. And that's a huge part of what you do as the host of the show is you're here to ask good questions, create great conversation, and listen to people. You know, because you're ultimately here to learn.
Very true.
And I mean that you wouldn't bring interesting people on in fields you don't work in if you didn't want to learn something about it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm also very curious about stuff. Like, for example, I've toyed with the idea of like starting a clothing company. So
Absolutely.
it's interesting to me. Like,
Totally.
I've looked into that kind of stuff. I've always been like an artist growing up too. So like learning about all that kind of stuff is fascinating.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I love learning.
I think we can like learn to listen in just about every aspect. So that's something that I'll definitely pay close attention to as we launch is listening to the people that are supporting us, see what they're saying, and then making a wise decision based off like the resources that I have at that time. You know, like there's a certain shirt or like a certain mug that I've presented for people, whether that be on Instagram or something like that, that they love, and I am so sick of it. I just don't like it. And I was telling Hope, and I was like, babe, we need to cut this out, and she was like, no, people love it. And it's like
people like direct message us asking for
that specific thing, and I'm like, all right. And it's so interesting how like I'm going to still sell it because I know if people want it, and I can give it to them, I will. You know, so it's interesting like hedging your bets based off like what you think is right and what the guest or the customer thinks is right.
Yeah.
And kind of trying to play the middle of those. Because there's certain things you will have to make decisions on that people will not like.
Yeah, that's very true. You can't please everybody.
Yep. There it is.
Quote by someone.
Yeah, someone said that.
Someone in history said that,
yeah,
and he doesn't need to be named.
No.
But anyways, I gotta kind of wrap up.
Yeah.
Because I've got to pack my clothes and leave in like
go to Europe.
a little while. Yeah. But is there anything else you wanted to talk about or mention or say or shout out or anything?
Oh, yeah, let me plug.
Plug it up.
All right, so get your pens ready. Instagram, we have it's Do Good Always Clothing Company.
At Do Good Always Clothing.
At Do Good Always Clothing.
I'll make sure I link all this in the description too. So.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Facebook, it's just Do Good Clothing Company. Our company name is Do Good Clothing Company. There's somebody who owns Do Good Clothing Company on Instagram. Please, can I have it?
Are they making stuff, or is it just like a thing that they own?
But they have a profile picture.
That's annoying.
Yeah, so there's no followers, no posts, no nothing. So he's probably thinking about starting a company at one point, so that's fine. I'm going to message him.
Abandon the idea and give us the name.
Yeah, abandon it. It's not a good idea, bro.
No one likes doing good.
Yeah, exactly. So Twitter is Do Good Worldwide. Also couldn't get Do Good Clothing Company because it's too long.
That's another
But I like
thing.
Do Good Worldwide because it's kind of like Prestige Worldwide.
Yes.
Which is...
that was the first thought I thought of.
Dude, which is hilarious. So...
Wide.
Yeah, exactly. And our website's going to be www.dogoodclothingcompany.com.
Don't forget those W's, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. The World Wide Web is real, and it still exists.
web.
And the internet appreciates the www. It takes out some work for it. So, yeah, those are kind of the plugs, I would say.
HTTPS.
Yeah.
Colon slash.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I would have like a last, like a final out. I guess it would be if be kind to people. Do what you can, but be super kind to people, because there's no reason not to. It's not going to affect your life negatively ever by being good to somebody else. And tell your friends to be good to other people too, because that's pretty cool. Don't be ashamed of who you are if you're a kind person, because there's plenty of other kind people that are ready to support you in being a good person. So, yeah.
There we go.
Do good.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks, bro.
thank you, Seth. Thank you, Hope, for being here.
Absolutely, man.
And I'll make sure to link all that stuff. And
Yeah,
when you
August
guys
9th.
launch, I'll be sure to shout you guys out and all that kind of stuff.
Beautiful. We gave you a little shout out on the little Snapchat
There we
story
go.
today. Or no, Instagram story. I'm sorry.
There we go. It's okay.
I'll get on Snapchat soon.
Dude, Snapchat shout-outs aren't as helpful, I feel like. Instagram shout-outs are so cool because
man.
you have...
Yeah.
Instagram shout-outs are cool because you can tag people.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, anyway. All right, everybody. We'll see you soon. Boom! We did it, folks. Another one in the tank. And what a good episode, right? I loved it. But you just heard Seth give a little take on what do good is and how you can kind of live the do good lifestyle. And like Seth said, it's all about, just being kind to people and doing good things, because guess what? It's not going to affect your life negatively. We need to lift each other up. You never know how much of an effect a small little act of kindness can have on someone else, and that makes it all worth it. So do good is supporting those acts of goodness and giving people a way to show and remind others to simply do good. That's their brand. That's what they're about. And to be honest, that's a big part of what this podcast is about, being good to other people by sharing opinions and stories, lifting each other up. I love it. And if you support that idea as well, you can show others by sporting some good old do good merch, and you can support some really cool people who are trying to make a difference. And also, I tried to get us a promo code so you guys could get some discount swag, but they were like super stingy and told me no. Just kidding. What they told me is that since 20% of their proceeds are going to the Center for Visually Impaired, using a promo code would directly be taking money away from their profits, thus directly taking away from the donations. So think of it this way. I'm going to give you an automatic promo code. When you go to their website, it's automatically applied. But just know that the money that you saved is automatically donated to help people with vision loss live with independence and dignity. So it's a win-win for all. Hooray! But seriously, go check out their website, dogoodclothingcompany.com, and pick out some dope stuff. That's all I got for this week. I'm slowly picking back up the pace with these uploads. Can't believe we're already 1/3 of the way to 100. So thank you guys so much for the support. Next episode should be one of my little weekly update episodes. Lots of exciting stuff coming up, so keep it locked. Of course, if you want to support the show, you can rate it 5 stars in the iTunes store. It's the best way to help me out. Also, when you're talking to your friends about podcasts, like, oh yeah, what do you listen to? Tell them you listen to the Andrew Deitch podcast. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Seriously, if you like the podcast, it would really mean a lot if you shared it with some friends. That's the biggest way this thing is growing, word of mouth, as well as social media, which leads me to my next point, which is if you want to follow me on social media, best way to find all my links to my social accounts is to go to my website, andrewdeitch.com, where you can find all the links to all my social media handles and accounts and all that stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really, really appreciate all of you. You guys are the best. And I will talk to you guys in a couple days. Have a good one, everybody. Do good.